All right. Welcome to I believe this is the sixth podcast we've done. Yeah, probably. Something like that. Of the year 2020. This one tonight's going to be a little different. We're going to have some fun. We're going to have some in-depth sports conversations. Yeah, it's going to be exciting. It's going to be fun. We're all not going to agree. But we will all share our opinions and go from there. With us, we have myself, Prez. We have Fiddy, the four-time COFL Bowl champion.
Yo. Not this year, though.
Not this year, yes. We will talk about that. We have Nasty Nate, as we all know, the RA of the decade.
What's up?
And then we have last, but I mean, without not even close to being least, the Oklahoma Vapor.
What's up?
There he is. Yeah, so we are. So there's, and I think from here on out we're going to do some new, quote unquote, segments on this in the podcast. We'll always talk COFL football, but I think we're going to be kind of going more towards real life sports issues, and real life issues. Speaking of real life issues, Fiddy, real quick, your boy Andrew Yangbang suspended his presidential campaign.
That is what I'm hearing.
I just got a NPR.
We will see. As of 35 minutes ago, there was false reports of that, so we'll see how true it is. But
fake
would
news.
Be a sad day.
Fake news.
Could be.
Could be. As always, those of you listening, everything we talk about, if you got something you want to say, just say it on the GroupMe chat. I'm sorry, not the GroupMe chat. Do not say it on the GroupMe chat. The YouTube chat. We're going to do one thing called, it's called the Did You Know? And we just kind of came up with it randomly, and it's fun little tidbits just about sports. Some might be cool, some might be dumb, some might be interesting. Some you may never talk about. Some you might say at work or class to your buddy, like, hey, did you know that ... And then we're also going to talk about the XFL, rave reviews about it. One thing, and we'll get to it more, but I heard that the numbers actually stayed consistent and they went up as the games went on. And I heard the quality of football actually wasn't that bad, but we'll get to that when we get to that. We'll also talk about NFL free agency, the quarterback carousel that is going to be happening this year. It's going to be crazy. And then I will release the COFL Season 20 draft order. The top 20 teams, so basically everyone who's out. And I think we might have some live action at some point. I think Jaguars and Patriots are going to be starting, I think at 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock Eastern time, but who knows. Sorry, I have to drink a lot of water when I do this. All right, so for the first time, we're going to do this thing. It's called Did You Know? Some of these are Fiddy's, some of these are Nate's. I think one of them is Maddie Harsh's, and actually the one that Maddie Harsh gave was actually probably one of the more interesting ones. All of them are good. Most of them are good. I think I only have one, too, but I think a lot of these are Fiddy's and Nasty Nate's, and maybe one of Naylor's. Anyways, so what we're going to do is we're going to say, did you know? And then we're going to rattle off some things that you may or may not have known. Here we go. The first one, on December 8th, 2002, during the inaugural season of the Houston Texans, they won a game in Pittsburgh while having only 47 total yards of offense, but winning the game 24-6. Now, the first thing that came to my mind when I read that, I felt like that was like a Tier 4 game of like B. Dukes versus that guy. And that's no knock on either of them. But
no, that's accurate. There's like 100 combined yards between the two, a defensive score and a half, and
yeah, a kick return. 2002, that's when the Houston Texans, so they've been around 16 seasons?
Yeah.
No, more than that.
That's crazy to think about.
18, not 17. Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, your math's terrible, but 2002's win.
You know what I mean. Wow, we're old. That's crazy.
Yeah, we've gotten there fast.
Yeah. All Ghosty, one day you'll be on the podcast. Not yet, buddy. The next one, I think this was Nate. Teams leading by, this is in reference to the Super Bowl, teams leading by 10 points with less than 7 minutes to go in a game were 164-1 this season heading into the Super Bowl. Now that's crazy.
That's wild. And here we are.
It's crazy.
And we still...
And for that, I'm thankful.
Yes, as you should be. Have you gotten your check yet or no?
Nah, I'm probably
Okay.
never going to get it.
You will.
We'll see. I hope so.
That's actually a really good did you know stat right there. I wonder who the other one team was that blew that lead. Huh.
That's got to be
It was the Oakland Raiders against Tennessee, I think.
You know, maybe. I don't know if you're right about that because I remember watching that game, and
I know it was the Raiders. I don't know what team it was.
Okay. The next one
Of
is
course it'd be the Raiders.
when the Chiefs or 49ers trailed by 10 points at any point in the game this season, they had an 8-1 record combined. The rest of the NFL was 29-207-1. Was that a Jake or Nate? Was that your stat?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one. I think this one. Yeah, I think this one's fitty. Patrick Mahomes' QBR on 3rd and 15 or longer is 95. The league average is 6.
That's just disgusting.
That's like, I mean, that's unexplainable. That's unexplainable.
Obviously, that stat was cued by that huge 3rd and 15 to Tyreek Hill in the fourth quarter of that last 7-minute comeback. But that's a random stat to even have. Like 3rd and 15 is probably a normal stat to keep track of. But for it to be that different is crazy.
I wish we could do stats like that in the COFL. Just have like a whole analytics department. Did you see what Hirsch did with the...
Yeah, with the views.
Yeah, it's cool, right?
I'm a big fan of that.
Yeah. We'll do more of that. I mean, I have them fucking forever. I can go back to season 1 and we can go do it. Next one is Patrick Mahomes. Here, this was Nate talking. Nate's pretty much throwing a little jab at me here. Saying Patrick Mahomes could throw 41 straight interceptions and still have a better quarterback rating than Mitch Trubisky.
That was definitely a jab.
That's pretty bad.
It is.
This is Fitties. And this one's kind of crazy, too. Since 1991, no professional team in Cincinnati, Ohio has won a playoff game, or has won a playoff game, meaning NFL, or a series, which is baseball, or, well, that's it. They don't have a basketball team. Which is, I mean, the Reds, you know, you go back to the Jose Rijo, Billy Hatcher days. They were good. The Rob Dibble, what was their nickname in the 90s?
Big Red Machine.
The Big Red Machine. Or was that the 70s? I think that was with Pete Rose.
It was the 70s.
Yeah. I mean, how many times have the Bengals... I mean, do we want to go into it?
I mean, we can if you want to. My feelings will be hurt, but it's whatever.
I mean, I can remember where I was. I'm sure you can too, but me not even being from Ohio or even being a Bengals fan. I can remember where I was when Joey Porter... Not Joey Porter. Yeah, was it Joey
Keno
Porter?
Van Olhoffen.
Like, baited it. Yeah. What happened?
Are you talking about the
Playoff
2015 game? Yeah, I mean, there's multiple playoff games. I was going to talk about Palmer's dislocated knee. We could talk about all sorts of heartbreaks if you want to.
I think that one was the biggest one because they had it.
Right.
It was done. Like it was.
The Steelers went on to win the Super Bowl the year that they took out Palmer's knee, and we were projected to make it that year too. So equal heartbreak, but just we were in a position to win the second one.
Who came in the backup? Who was Carson Palmer's backup?
John Kitna.
Wow, that's a did you know stat right there.
Yeah, that's no good. He didn't even do that bad until halftime when he found out that like Palmer was for sure not coming back, and he completely choked on a dick the rest of the half.
That's why they call him Shitna.
That's pretty much it. That's why he teaches math now.
Here's a fitty one. If you signed up for the Green Bay Packers season tickets right now, you'd have to wait an estimated 1,000 years to get your turn.
Yeah, they said something like they average less than 100 people each year that don't renew. And the list is currently 65,000 people long.
That's wild.
So they just That's crazy. Like, just I know that there's somebody I know that is 60 years old and just got the call, and his parents put him on the list when he was born.
Wow. That's.
Yeah, like
many,
his parents didn't even live to see the fact that they were successful in getting him season tickets.
Matty Harsh, you got Oklahoma Sooners season tickets, or you go to a lot of games?
I got connections with people that have season tickets, so I'm able to buy them off of them. I got someone that's actually related to my wife, one way or another, and he's like 80, and he's had season tickets for most of his adult life, so he's not able to get up and go to as many games as he'd like. So a lot of times he ends up just giving them to me, and I go to them.
There you go. Here's mine. What up, Hirsch?
What's good, guys?
Ladies and gentlemen.
I chime in right there. My dad definitely has Falcons season tickets, so we definitely get to watch the great and very, very disappointing seasons every year. Shit's great. It used to be super cheap because obviously the team was bad, but since maybe like 2008, basically the Vic era, low key, tickets skyrocketed, and now there's a new stadium and shit, and everything is super designer. So
that stadium is the greatest thing I've ever stepped foot in.
Oh yeah, it's dope.
Yeah, I've never been. I always wanted to go growing up. Obviously I'm a Cubs fan, but I always wanted to go to Fulton County Stadium where the Braves played with. I mean those Braves teams when I was growing up with Mark Lemke, Terry Pendleton, Steve Avery, John Smoltz, Mark Wohlers, David Justice, Jermaine Dye.
Chipper
Who
Jones, Andrew Jones.
Dude, Greg Maddox, Andrew Jones, Chipper Jones. Hell yeah.
Staff was nasty.
I mean,
that's
honestly,
as it gets.
That's like
only winning one is a travesty.
Yeah, they beat the Indians, I think, in '95. I want to say.
Yep, we got robbed. For my 5th birthday, my dad definitely took me to opening day, and we sat way the fuck high up in Fulton County Stadium. This shit was dope.
I remember when
Barry
they played.
Larkin won MVP that year.
I remember they played. I think it was in '96 and '97 back to back. They played the Yankees. I think it was just 1 year maybe, but that series was awesome.
They definitely played in like '97. I want to say it was.
'97, the Marlins actually.
Yeah, the Marlins beat the Yankees in '97.
They beat the Indians.
Oh no, you're right. They beat the Indians in 7 games. That's right.
So you're right. It was '96, '97, or 95, '96.
I don't know.
They played in '99. I know that.
I don't know. But
whatever. We're all just old, and it was like 30 years ago.
I know shit. All right, so this is mine. I'm a Bears season ticket holder, and I'm gonna go in on what Hirsch says. I get to see a lot of shitty seasons, and this just typifies the Chicago Bears since 1990. That's 3 decades, 30 years. The Bears have only made the playoffs 8 times. That's awful. So it's an average once every 4 years. And that's what they do. The Bears run their organization like a family business, like a small business. They nickel and dime. They do enough just to kind of, they make money on their end, which is, I get it. It's a business. But they throw you a bone every once in a while, and then they just fucking shit down your throat the rest of the years. And that's what they do. But I keep coming back, so I guess it's my fault.
That sounds right. That's where Bengals fans are right now.
I mean, sports in general, they have us on the hook, man. All of this faith shit, like...
I know. It's our fault.
Yeah.
It's our fault. Like, we made it this way. We made sports a billion-dollar business because we love sports so much. So, that's my thing. We have no one to blame but ourselves.
It's true. It's a perpetual cycle if you end up in a bad situation like us currently.
Did you know that a 30-second Super Bowl commercial is $5.3 million? While Patrick Mahomes made $5.1 million this season. And you wonder why there's world hunger. You wonder why there's homeless people on the streets. You wonder why our infrastructure is shit. It's because a commercial costs more than you put together, I don't even know, like 1,000 people. They won't, all of them combined won't make 5.3 million. I mean, I don't know if it's that. It could be more people. That's crazy. Yeah, that's a did you know. This is a good one. The year before he won the Super Bowl in 2014, Russell Wilson was the lowest paid starting quarterback in the NFL.
I can believe that.
Yeah, but the lowest? I mean, damn.
Well, it's just whenever he came out of college, no one really thought too much of him, which is
True.
Yep,
I think
rookie
he got drafted
contract.
like
They were paying
14th
that
round.
defense a lot. He's right.
Hey, if anyone listening on the podcast on the YouTube, if you got a did you know that you want to throw at us, type it in. This one's actually great. I like this one a lot. I don't know who did it. It might have been Nasty Nate. The Titans, previously the Oilers, haven't played in the AFC East since 1969, but they have more AFC East division titles than the Jets. That's bad. That's rough.
That's depressing.
That's a good one. That's a really good one.
I mean, they can blame pretty much Tom Brady for 70% of that. It's not mathematically, but pretty much. The Bills were taking over like one era, and Tom Brady took over the other 4 eras.
Yeah.
That and the Bills.
The Detroit Tigers have drafted more Super Bowl winning quarterbacks than the Detroit Lions. Who? Can anyone name the 1 or 2 that they drafted?
Well, one was Mahomes.
That's all you need.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, just one. Yeah.
It might have been Russell Wilson, maybe.
No, I think he was drafted by the A's. That was
That was Kyler Murray.
Thank you. Yeah, that's who it
Yep.
was.
Was it the Yankees?
No, it was the Rangers. Wasn't it?
It was the
Yeah,
Rangers.
He actually played briefly for the Rangers
Yeah.
just in spring training. I can't remember who actually drafted him, and then he's doing that now with the Yankees.
There have been double-digit Super Bowl winning quarterbacks drafted by Major League Baseball teams. But there are still NFL franchises who've never drafted a Super Bowl winning quarterback. That's just dumb luck. Or that's just bad luck. I don't know what the fuck that is. Call it what you will.
I guess it's not super terribly impressive because half those people are getting drafted to the MLB with the team fully knowing that they're not about to play baseball. But still, they're just crazy athletes.
Here's a did you know from Nick. It's actually pretty good. You ready?
I'm ready.
It says, did you know that Blake Bortles has a higher playoff quarterback rating than Tom Brady?
I did know that, and that is exactly why he's terrible and never the GOAT.
Yeah, Tom Brady's not the GOAT. Anyone that says, well, you know what? We'll do another one of that because we've had a lot of GOAT conversations.
have.
I think we got one more, and then we will move on to the XFL. This was Matty Harsh's, and this might be my favorite one. The Super Bowl between the Seahawks and the Patriots had 0 5-star recruits in it. I think that's just great. Because
That's fantastic.
I love that because I think that whole 4-star, 5-star is it's nonsense. But that's actually just wild. I mean, you look at Russell Wilson. He's like a 2-star supreme athlete. And he's not a 5-star recruit? That's insane.
I mean, he went to Wisconsin, and they don't even do quarterbacks, really.
I know.
And Tom Brady was barely recruited.
That's because he's bad.
All right. Did anybody here watch the XFL over the weekend?
I watched a game and a half.
Did you really?
Same. Saturday. Those Saturday
Same.
games about that.
I didn't really watch a ton of it. I watched a little bit of it. I'm definitely going to dive into it. I'll say what I have to say and what I've heard, and then I'll let you guys jump in and tell me what you guys think or what you saw. But on Monday morning, I wake up, do my thing. When I go to work, I drive. I have like a 10-15 minute drive to work, and I always listen to sports talk radio. And they were, trust me, these guys will shit on anything and everything. But they were genuinely excited about the XFL. And it wasn't, and these guys in the beginning, I remember when the XFL came out, like 5 years ago, 6, 10 years ago, whatever, these guys hated it. Because it was funny because they were like, the reason we hated it is because it was dumb. They're like, there were strippers on like the sideline, cheerleaders in cages. It was dumb. And they're like, and they said it was directed towards like a dumb audience. but they're saying that this XFL, the quality of play wasn't that bad. It wasn't bad. It was actually decent. It was watchable. They loved the referees, the replays, how you could hear how they went over it, what they did. And one interesting thing they said is that the XFL has 3 years of not revenue, but 3 years of money set aside to keep them afloat. So this might be
Vince McMahon by himself doing that.
no shit. He's like the Don. I wouldn't be surprised if he ran for president. He could probably do it. Fiddy,
Yeah,
you
might as well.
watched a game and a half. Just tell me what you think. Give me your opinion, and I don't know from there.
Yeah, I mean, kind of going off of what the radio people said, I love the fact, like, the insiders that go down. Like, not just the refs. They took you inside of huddles during timeouts. They took you inside of the halftime locker room for the speeches. And they even went as far as to, like, ask people how they fucked up after they fucked up. Like, there was a guy that fumbled, and they were like, what are you going to do differently next time? Like, before the next team even took the field.
I know. I heard like a kicker because they were laughing. They're like, imagine in the NFL, fucking Cody Parkey, double doinks. Cameraman runs right up to him and says, it'd be hilarious how they would react.
Exactly. And they did that. This dude shanks a 35-yarder, and then they're like, how does it feel? You haven't kicked in a game in 2.5 years. What's going on? He's like, yeah, well, just pulled it a little bit. We didn't keep by, whatever he said. I don't even know what he said. But then he came out and had a 55-yarder before the half. So, I mean, I don't know. It adds a weird dynamic. But then, furthermore, the gameplay is it's not quite college level, but I think that's only got to do with the following. Like, the biggest plus of college football is hardly the talent half the time. It's this, like, the associations and, like, people's heartfelt, like, wanting to be involved with each team and, like, the whole fan base thing and, like, how much support they get. And obviously the XFL is not going to have that after 1 week, but the actual quality of play was good enough to where if it lasts long enough, that might just build itself. And I think a bunch of NFL rejects are better than half of most college teams anyway. So it's there. The gameplay rules are cool. The kickoffs are super cool. Where
I
they,
100% agree.
Yeah, I think that they should do that in the NFL.
That's what Deuce said. Explain the kickoffs to me, because Deuce just said that too in the YouTube chat. He said he likes the way they do the kickoffs. How do they do it?
Yeah.
I didn't see it.
So the kicker stays where he normally does in the NFL, at 35 or whatever, but his team doesn't stand on the line with him. They stand on the other side where he's kicking it at the 25, and the returning team lines up at the 20. So it eliminates the 40-yard run before collision, and he has to kick it to the guy who then there's just kind of like immediate blocking, and he can maybe try to find a seam. But even more than that, if the kicker doesn't make it to the 20, it's a penalty, and they get it on the other side of the field on the 45, like across midfield. It's that big of a penalty.
Wow.
And if you kick it as a touchback, they get it on the 35 instead of the 25. So, like, there's massive incentive to actually make it a returnable ball, and there's no super crazy collisions either. So it's kind of like it feels like you can rip it at any time because you kind of can, and no one's dying at the same time. It's just exactly what it was probably meant to do.
One thing, and then Hirsch, I want to hear what you have to say since you watched it, but actually two things that I think are really positives for the XFL is, one, there's only 8 teams. That's all you need right now. Just 8 teams, keep it simple and build. I'm not going to compare it to the COFL, but when the
almost did.
When the COFL Madden era, I think we had 12 teams, 16, no more than that, 12, I think. And you just build. We've had, I guess you want to call guys like Hirsch and Deuce, those are expansion coaches. They came in and they took over a team, and there you go. That's a bad comparison, kind of a joke. But one thing that's huge for them, and the guys on the radio I listened to, they said, all right, listen, like they're on ABC, it's on ESPN, it's Saturday, they're not competing against anybody. These are the channels that the bars are showing on Saturday nights. This is what the people are going to be watching. And what's even better is that you can bet on it. You can gamble. Sports gambling is going to be huge for the XFL.
They had the lines up on the scoreboard.
Exactly.
On the TV.
It's crazy. They're embracing it. It's hilarious. All right, Hirsch, what do you have to say?
Yo, so I 100% agree with all the takes you guys had. Another thing that I do want, so I'm not like super rehashing everything Fitty said. I thought that it was going to be pretty gimmicky, the point after situation, which, just to reiterate for anybody who doesn't know,
Yeah.
you can either go 1 point from the 2 yard line, 2 points from the 5 yard line. Is that correct? And then 3 points from the 10 yard line. Yeah. And I saw, first off, it's nice that of course the NFL has already made moves to make the point after a little bit more difficult. It's not a gimme. That's dope. But this, not only are we getting wild scores, but even on the going for one, these teams are not getting it. I'm excited for the future where they do decide to get more adventurous and really get after it. Because, this, along with some of those other special teams rule changes, I think are incredible, in terms of just ingenuity. I didn't know that's what I wanted in football until I saw this shit. But you're also exactly right about, it doesn't have any competition. I was just chilling in my house on Saturday, had people, posted up or whatever. And I just happened to throw it on in the background, while we're smoking weed, doing what we do. And it was fucking captivating. The lines, just like you said, were up on the screen. And I don't even sports gamble like that, but I was interested to know, oh man, that was kind of close to the line. Of course, I also agree that the talent isn't incredible. It doesn't jump off the screen, but these guys are also not scrubs. Just like you said, most college teams are not going to have, full rosters full of, elite level talent. So I think you just do have to come in not expecting too much from what you're watching. I think they're doing a better job than the AAF by having taken their time, maintain some revenue just in case so they can last for a couple of years to really build a fan base. But the shit was dope so far. The biggest pluses are, those special teams things and it honestly not having competition on Saturday afternoon. So we'll see as things go on. I don't know if I'm going to be, explicitly tuning in every week, but the shit was kind of fun.
It was fun to watch. I also enjoyed, I just want to chip in real quickly that the idea of, as a casual or not casual NFL fan, just seeing random names pop up that you haven't heard of in 5 years. Remember Raheem Moore, the dude who fucked up the Broncos playoff chances against the Ravens when that Jacoby Jones deep ball? He had a pick six this weekend.
Cardale Jones, Ohio State.
Yeah, he balled out. There's just random things like that. I've seen a few ex-Bengals on the field that, no one outside of Cincinnati maybe people in Cincinnati shouldn't know who they are, but I don't know, just random recognizable names. It's kind of, I don't know, it's neat.
You know what's going to be, in Matty Harsh, I'll get to you in a second if you watched it, but look at a guy like Trevor Lawrence. What if he's fuck it, what am I doing playing college football? I can go get paid. They can see me. I can always get a degree. I'm a smart kid. I'll go back and get it while I'm playing the NFL.
Right. The reason they're not making crazy money, but $55K a year to a college kid is perfect.
And I'll say the reason why I say that is because they were talking about a kid who got kicked out, I think, of Missouri. I forget, but he was I think he was all Big 12 or all SEC. Sorry, but he ended up getting kicked out. So now he's only like 19, 20 years old, and he's in the XFL right now.
Yeah,
and they're saying he's going to be or maybe he's 20. And he's going to be able to be in the draft this coming April. So he's almost this is like his showcase. This is his film right here.
Yeah, them not being gay about it and just being open about the fact that they are more or less going to be a feeder ground for the NFL to pick people from. They made it so that their contracts have to be honored. They have to finish the season with the XFL team, but they can be eligible for the draft. And after the season's over, it's not multi-year. It's kind of like a salary deal.
Yeah, if Canadian football could make it as long as it has, the XFL could do it if they do it right. Obviously they have the money and they have the investors. And that's what all this stuff comes down to, man. It's all about money. It's just the way it is. It's how the world turns.
One point that he made earlier was the backing that it has from the networks, and it is not just ESPN and fucking who's this? Yes, I don't fucking know. But Fox is also in on the game, and if you got the networks and you got the TV deals, you're out here. If I don't have to search to find your shit to play. I can just throw it on or I can stream it wherever. That's half the battle, just getting people to get access to your sport.
I read in an article that Vince McMahon, he's got $350 million ponied up already. It's enough to make the league run for 3 years without any income. And his goal is to get a big-time TV contract. And the TV contract just has to be worth $120 million, which is extremely low for sports standards. Mm-hmm. So, they really don't have that high of aspirations to reach before they more than break even and make the league successful.
Matty Harsh, did you watch any XFL or no?
I did.
You did?
Yeah.
Well, tell me what you think, kid.
Well, I didn't watch any of the Saturday games. I watched both of the Sunday games, and really, I'm happy as hell to see Bob Stoops back on the sideline.
That's right.
That's really what got me.
That's great.
Got me in the XFL, and his offensive coordinator, Hal Mummy. He's the guy that started the air raid. He's the one that groomed up and taught it to Mike Leach, who's gone off and just spread it like wildfire throughout college football. Now starting to make its way into the NFL. And on the other hand, at Houston, you also got June Jones roaming the sidelines. He's the guy that got Hawaii with Colt Brennan.
Colt Brennan, wow.
Yeah, into
yeah.
bowl game.
They got smoked by Georgia 44-10. That was go on. Sorry.
Led SMU to their first bowl victory since receiving the death penalty. My two favorite offenses are the air raid and the run and shoot, and I'm looking forward to seeing that matchup whenever Dallas and Houston.
Yo, Matty, is that
one another?
Is that the Vipers that he's coaching, Bob Stoops? I don't remember who's with teams. I've heard. Yeah, I'm trying to. I guess the next big thing is for them to get some notoriety behind teams. But I don't know yet. But those, you're absolutely right. Those are some of the names that I've been watching for too.
And one thing I do think that the XFL could actually do it. And do y'all remember the USFL back in the early '80s?
I heard of it. I was born in '83, so.
Okay, well, this is why the NFL now has a 3-year rule for college players to come enter their league, is because of the USFL. At the time, you had to be in school for 4 years to enter the NFL. Well, the USFL were drawn from the same draft pool. They said, well, hell, we're just going to let them come school 3 years to enter our league. What if the XFL did something similar to that to maybe shorten the length for college athletes? Say maybe 2 years, 1 year, or hell, come to our league straight out of high school.
Well, it's funny you bring up the USFL. Steve Young came out of Brigham Young, went to the USFL. Herschel Walker was in the USFL did damage to the NFL because they had guys come out of college and go straight there. There are probably more names. I think Brian Bosworth might have been one, but I could be wrong about that. But yeah, I know for sure next week I will. It'll have to be a night game, but I will definitely pay attention to some XFL football. And it's just good to have football in the background. Like her said, hanging out, having people over, doing whatever. There's nothing better than a Saturday night in the fall when you have ESPN and it's like LSU Ole Miss on a Saturday night. This time you got it in February. It's going to be like the DC Vipers versus the Alabama whatever. I don't know who the teams are, but there's nothing better than having football on in the background. For me, I just love it.
Yeah, I'm always here for some surprise football.
Yeah, even Arena League. I went to an Arena League game once. You guys ever been to one?
Yeah, they're a lot of fun. Georgia Force, that shit was a lot of fun. Another creative take on, this fucking violence that we love. Just to give y'all some background, my fucking fantasy league, I'm the commissioner or whatever, but we named that shit Fantasy Bloodsport because, that's really what we're watching. These guys are in a civilized way being violent, and XFL has found a way to be creative about that shit.
And when it comes down to it, that's what we want. We like the chess match, we get that, but we like seeing a violent chess match, whether it be UFC or whether it be hockey. Actually, I don't really watch hockey, but I feel like I should because it is pretty violent. And they let people fight and stuff. But yeah, we want. Remember I think it was this time last year. I said I'm pro CTE. Like I want people to get freaking decapitated and just drilled over the middle. So yeah, that's all I got to say about that. But XFL is definitely. We'll see how it lasts, though. I mean, I think it does have staying power, just with the TV stations that it's on, and just the way that they're delivering it. So hopefully, we get some football, 24 or 365 days a year. Ryan Barron says the NFL over the XFL. Yes, of course, we know that. I don't even know who Ryan Barron is, but he's listening to the podcast. Yeah, as Hirsch just said, obviously the NFL over the XFL. We're not saying that. The NFL is where it's at, man. The NFL is our English Premier League. That's where we sing our fight songs. It's where we get in arguments over our teams. It's what we live for, man. My wife thinks I'm addicted to football. She yelled at me. I think it was like week 10. I forget who the Bears were playing, but I watched football, and I was hungover too, so it made it worse. But I watched football from noon until like 10:30 at night. I mean, mind you, I'm married, I have a kid, so it's like I have. And I'm not saying other people don't, but she wanted me to do shit around the house, and I kind of slacked around. She got pissed at me because I watched football for like 10 hours. But it's like when you think about it, it's kind of an addiction. Like we're just obsessed with it.
At least it's only mostly one day a week.
Yeah, colleges too. Then you got Thursdays.
That's true. Yeah, it's not one day a week at all.
Then you got Mondays, and then Maction starts, and you got Tuesdays.
Well, 2 days a week for me. I live for college football Saturday, and then that goes into Sunday for the NFL with me.
All right, so that's enough about the XFL. We're gonna move on. This is what I want the podcast to kind of be from now on. I like this. Just more genuine sports talk. Who doesn't like talking sports? So we're gonna talk about NFL. Nate, is Nate even here?
Yeah, I'm here.
Jesus, kid.
I didn't watch the game, so I really didn't know what to say.
Right,
you guys did a pretty good job, so I don't think I could have added anything more.
Thanks, Nate. We appreciate the compliment. Next up, NFL free agents. This is going to be a fun one. And if they probably say this every year, but this free agency is going to be crazier than the last. And I think it's true because of all the quarterbacks and all the quarterback carousel. I mean, it's going to be quarterbacks changing left and right on each team, not each team, but a lot of teams. And we're going to go down the list. And these aren't all of the free agents, but it's the ones that I think are one of the most important. The first one, TFB.
Boo.
Tom effing Brady, man. Who's he going to go to? Two things that I've heard. And I heard it this morning. Someone said that Michael Irvin, not the most credible source, he's a known crackhead. It's proven. He's gotten arrested for it.
Science.
Said that reputable sources that he knows, not in the Cowboys though, outside of the Cowboys, but sources said that Dak Prescott has been turning down a lot of their offers, and they said that they're going to go very, very hard at Tom Brady to get him to be their quarterback. That would be nuts. That would be wild. Someone said that why wouldn't he go to Tampa Bay? Or I said the Chargers. Who do you guys think he fits the best with? Not including. Let's just say he leaves New England. Fitty, we'll start with you. Who do you think he lands? Who do you think he lands with? Who's his best fit?
First off, I want to start off by saying that no matter where he goes, if it's not New England, he's not finishing 500. Second off, I think that if he wants to go to Dallas, they're going to have to show him that they are into getting receivers for him because if I'm not mistaken, I think both Randall Cobb and Amari Cooper are both free agents. So maybe they'll have the money to get one or the other if Dak doesn't sign a crazy contract. I don't really know their cap situation, but they would need to pick up a piece for him to want to go there and for that to be the best situation. If they did, I think Dallas is hands down the best. They've got a young core. They've got a solid defense, bunch of studs running everywhere. And then second, I lean Chargers over the Bucs just because they have a running game and their defense has some studs on it. You really can't go wrong. You mentioned Arians earlier. I think he's a good fit for any quarterback. But I'd pick Dallas then Chargers if I was going to pick a fit for him.
Question real quick. Were you saying that no matter who he picks, if it's not New England, even Dallas or the Chargers, he's going to be sub 500? Is that what you were saying?
Yeah, pretty much. He's just not good.
Tom Brady?
He's just not good.
Okay.
That's all I got. We can get into that argument if you'd like, but that's not what we're here for.
I would like to, but let's get into some more of the stuff.
No, let's get into it. Let's get into the argument. Let's get into it.
Yo, listen, man. Even as a game manager, this guy Tom Brady still has it. Like 80% of the battle as a quarterback is being intelligent enough to read the defense, recognize what's happening, get into the right play or situation, and you'll be good. If he's in a good enough system, he'll be fine. I don't know,
but the system,
the case in Dallas.
He's not the system, though.
Listen, man, he's run in a system long enough that he is capable of implementing a system himself. Like, he'll be fine.
Does Dallas let him do that?
I mean, all right, see, you are right there because Jerry Jones is wild. And I do agree with you. I can see him going to Dallas because Jerry Jones will be like, oh, man, that's the guy. Like, I got to have the guy.
Can you imagine the, plethora of America's America if that happens?
Yeah.
America's team, America's quarterback, everything combines into one for a giant America.
Oh, my God. Yeah. Fucking, that'd be – Go on, sorry.
But even there, I mean, how many wins did the actually, they fucking fell off. The whole NFC East was trash this season. But they would win more games than the few mistakes Dak made. He's got Amari Cooper as a weapon, an excellent running back in Ezekiel Elliott, even though, I mean, listen, he's starting to age. They'll be fine. Great offensive line. They'll be perfectly fine. A little bit better defense, probably not as well coached. A lot of the issues that he's had in New England recently haven't all been his fault. Like, sure, he's not as fat, not that he was ever mobile, but he can't improvise and do the things that he might have been able to do just to step up in the pocket and keep you alive, convert those third and longs. But I mean, there are a million other positions on the field that need to step up. So I'm not putting Tom Brady below 500 until he tears another ACL or whatever the fuck. There's no fucking way this guy Tom Brady doesn't win 9 games, regardless of
I wanted him to go somewhere else well before he was 43, because now when he sucks, everyone's just going to be, oh, he's 43. No one's ever lasted that long. And it'll be it'll be discrediting the fact that he's the biggest system quarterback maybe in the history of life. He can't throw the ball past 25 yards, and he's not good unless he has people around him. And when he doesn't have people around him, he bitches about people not being around him. It's just not any different than an average quarterback.
Sounds like LeBron to me.
They still made the playoffs.
Of course they did. They have Bill Belichick. They'll never not make the playoffs. If he leaves, who's more successful until the end of their carears? Even if Tom Brady left when he was 35 instead of 43.
Yeah,
I got one name for you. Matt Castle.
Do you see what I'm saying? 11-5 without Tom Brady. 11-5. They missed the playoffs, and that's all everyone wants to harp on. But how do you miss the playoffs at 11-5? You gotta be pissed, no matter who the quarterback is.
That only happens in the COFL.
Division is trash. What are you gonna do?
I mean, I guess.
Hold on.
It's been trash for 20 years.
I want to hear what Nasty Nate has to say, and Matty Harsh. But let's do Nasty Nate first. Go.
Well, earlier I was saying in the group how I really thought that he would benefit most going to Tampa Bay because of the offense. But as much as I would hate to see him go in the NFC South, because I agree with Matty Harsh, or not Matty Harsh, sorry, Hirsch, that he would just change the culture of a team. I think that he brings a lot to the table. He has a winning attitude. I think that I don't think he would go under 500. Do I think that what he said, he wouldn't be a spectator for the Super Bowl? No, but I do think that he would definitely turn Tampa Bay around, because I feel like they're just a couple pieces away from being decent. Obviously, he can't help the defensive side of the ball or the running game, like Fiddy was talking about how the Chargers have a little bit of an advantage there. But I think I would most like to see him in Tampa Bay, even though I would really hate to see him play twice a year. Just if I were a Tom Brady fan, I think I would most likely like that.
Can I ask just a general question? Just between, if you had to pick one quarterback and you had the same team, no matter which quarterback you pick, who's going to be better this year in general? Dak Prescott at his current age or Tom Brady at 43?
Are you asking me?
Just anyone.
That's a tough question.
I don't believe in Dak Prescott, man.
I like, dude. I kidding me. I would.
Guy. He has some winning spirit, but I don't see it in the accuracy department, man.
I mean, here's the thing, dude. Not every quarterback's gonna be Aaron Rodgers. You know what I mean? There's in reality, there's like 5 really good quarterbacks in the NFL. After that, I mean, you just got to hope they have a great season if you want to have a Super Bowl run. Look at all the quarterbacks that have made. Look at all the teams that have won the Super Bowl. They have a top 5 quarterback. So, I mean, when you say the accuracy and Dak, I mean, you gotta. I would take Dak. Obviously, I'm a Bears fan. We have Trubisky, but
I don't know.
I think both would take Dak.
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. That's a tough question you ask.
But since it's tough, do you really think that Tom Brady's going to make the Cowboys better than the dumpster fire they already were?
I think
the coach is going to be the big difference there. But Jason Garrett not being the 7-9 asshole he's been for his whole life.
You put Dak on the Patriots,
he dominates.
And
let me try to make a better comparison because I feel like there are too many differences between Dak and Tom Brady to be making this accurate argument. Nate, definitely let me know what you think about this. But would you guys rather have Matt Ryan or Tom Brady right now? At their ages, at their current athleticisms, we understand they're both capable quarterbacks. What do you think?
I'd go Tom, but that's a good one. That's a good one. That's a good comparison. Both old white guys that can't really run.
Yeah, Matt Ryan's never been
a receiver.
I'm kidding.
Put up 4,000 yards in a season. These guys can run an offense. They'll be fine.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, shit. I mean, those guys right there are still. I mean, Matt Ryan to me is a top 8 quarterback in the NFL right now. Still, maybe not fantasy wise, but you put him on any team, and Matt Ryan will. I would kill for Matt Ryan right now on my team.
Oh, sure.
Statistically, in even number years, Matt Ryan is always a top 4 quarterback. So this year I'd have to take Matt Ryan, but odd number years I'll take Tom Brady. I'll just switch off every year.
Matty Harsh, let's. I want to hear what Matty Harsh has to say. He's the Oklahoma Vapor. He always has the final word. Matty Harsh, talk to us.
Well, as a Cowboys fan, I want someone long term at quarterback. Tom Brady's so short term, and for anyone that's going to pick him up, you better have a contingency plan because he's about to be 43. It's going to last 2 years at the most, 3 if he's lucky.
3 if he's very lucky.
There are good. I don't think he's the GOAT, but however, there are good qualities about him that I do like. The best fit that I think be for him is the Titans. Tannehill's could be out of Tennessee, and they got some playmakers. They just came off a great playoff run. Another team that I'd like to see him go to is the Broncos. The Broncos got some guys on defense, and they got a few weapons on that offense. So, and it would definitely be a huge upgrade over what they have now.
What about the Bears? I'm kidding. Let's look at some of these.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Let's look at these YouTube comments. So, this kid Ryan Barron's actually bringing up some pretty good points. He says it's interesting because the Patriots want AJ Green and Hunter Henry. If they can't bring back Tom Brady, they should go after Phillip Rivers or Teddy Bridgewater, or draft Jordan Love, who's from Utah State. That's actually pretty interesting.
I know I'm more inclined to hear these types of rumors because I live in Cincinnati, but I've heard that they actually covet Andy Dalton as well.
Oh man, Andy Dalton! I love Andy Dalton. I don't know why. I just think he's the perfect not perfect NFL quarterback, but he's
He's the perfect not going to lose you a game quarterback.
Exactly. But you give him a running game, you give him a really good defense. I mean, you give him a good defense, you're going to go 11-5 with him.
Yeah, we've done it.
Yeah. Ghosty says Fitty is on crack.
I mean, that might be, but I don't think that's relevant to the conversation.
That guy says Brady will retire after this coming season once it's a lose. So he's got one more year left. Is what he's saying. Ryan Barron says Patriots will still make the playoffs. People need to realize the Patriots aren't a one-man team. Yeah, here's my thing with the Patriots. We've talked about it. It's for me. I mean, Brady's a very good quarterback. None of us are not saying that. But for me, I've always said it's been his offensive line that holds his ass up, and they don't even get talked about. And that's why I think Dallas is actually a really good fit for him, because Dallas's offensive line is great. And it's also Belichick, and it's also Josh McDaniel.
An untalked about guy is their linebacker or offensive line coach. He left for one season, and Tom Brady was like in the top 5 in hurries and pressures and all that jazz for 1 year. And then he came back, and it changed all over again.
I'm pretty sure the wide receivers also led the league in drops by a pretty significant margin.
Yeah, I think they did too. They don't really have anyone solid.
We got some COFL playoff action. We'll watch that game, probably the second half of it, but we'll keep an eye on it. It's Patriots, the 5 seed, at Jacksonville, the 4 seed. The game just kicked off, so we will keep an eye on that and give people scores. All right, let me read some of these comments. We got some good comments here. I like it. All right.
Heck yeah.
Nick says Matt Castle also hadn't started a game since high school when they went 11-5, which is true, because he went to USC and backed up Matt Leinart and maybe one other quarter. I think he was like a third stringer at USC, at least a backup. Ghosty says, y'all lucky I'm not in on this Brady debate. Yeah, we're real lucky, Ghosty. That guy says Brady won't sniff playoffs or Super Bowl to finish his career.
Very accurate no matter where he's at.
Hirsch says he'd like to see Brady on the Broncos. I don't know if I see that. They
think Drew Lock's it.
Yeah. That guy says, great point, Matt. Good job, Matty Harsh. You got to like.
Hey.
Good example of no backup plan is the Broncos after Manning. That's a great comparison. Hirsch says, I don't know why Prez loves Andy Dalton either. I just like him. I really like him. Ghosty says Phillip Rivers is washed. Yeah, I think Phillip Rivers. We'll get to Rivers. He's in this too. That guy says.
I'm sorry for derailing this free agency conversation.
Oh, you're good. This is what it is, man. That guy says Bridgewater would be scary with the Patriots. I don't think he'd be scary because, and he's also on this little free agency list. Teddy Bridgewater didn't really impress me with the Saints. They won a lot of games, like low-scoring defense. I mean, I think they won like 13-6 against Seattle.
He went 5-1 as a game manager. He did exactly what his job is. He's a perfect backup quarterback.
Yeah, I don't think he wouldn't be scary to me. Ryan Barron says, I don't want Tom Brady in. Oh, yeah, the Colts would be a great fit for him. Great offensive line. They got skill players. They got a good defense. Yeah, I like that.
I can see that. I'd like that.
Yeah. Hirsch says Teddy Two Gloves would definitely be scary until playoff time when he has to throw downfield. Exactly. Ghosty says,
without Michael Thomas.
I'm a true Patriots fan. In my opinion, we should have kept Jimmy. Ghosty, I love Brady, but we should have moved on before. DB says Brady either going to Las Vegas, interesting, or the Chargers, which I kind of said, but after hearing all this, I think Indianapolis or Dallas. Teddy Bridgewater went 5-0, actually, not 5-1. And that guy confirmed there have been rumors. That guy, our Indianapolis inside reporter, confirmed there are rumors he could be going to Indy. So there you go.
I'd be okay with that. That is one situation where I can see him succeeding a little bit. They kind of already have it. They were a decent team with Jacoby Brissett, and he's just not good.
All right, let's move on from this. We can talk about Tom Brady all night. This next one, I think we'll move on kind of quick from it. Deuce Club, you're listening. You tell me. Drew Brees, free agent. He's going back to the Saints, right?
Yep.
No doubt about it.
Exactly.
Good question.
All right, so I probably shouldn't even put him in there, should I have? Okay. Next up, Chris Jones. the D tackle from the Chiefs. This guy I love. He's a monster. He is the only defensive player for Kansas City, in my opinion.
Tyrann Mathieu.
Yeah, I'm just go along with it. Nick would probably know better than me because Nick is a Chiefs fan. I love a big little hog up the middle who's also a pass rusher, but he can also play the run. This guy, he's priceless. He's almost a guy that you name. He names his price and you pay it. I don't know.
Do we know how old he is?
I don't. Here we go. Nick says, oops. Sorry, I think it's, hold on a second. I'll get you that information in 1 second. No, that's Chris Jones. He said that's Frank Clark is number 55. That's Chris Jones, number 95 of the Chiefs. Let me see.
Frank Clark signed an extension.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm getting all confused now, Nick. You confused me. He was born in 94, so...
That means he's 25.
Oh, that's young.
About to be 26.
Dude, he's got 4 more years left in his prime. 3 left in his prime. He'll give you maybe 1 or 2 more, half-ass the last year. And
I don't know how you don't re-sign him if you're the Chiefs. Maybe the money's not there, but Mahomes isn't on rape contract yet, so I think you just got to do it.
Nope, still in his rookie year contract.
Jeez,
Mahomes is about to be paid, though. That's the thing in this offseason.
Yeah. Is it this one or next one?
This one. This is his 3rd year, so that rookie deal is ending. Or is done. Is ending. Yeah.
Never mind, they can't sign anyone ever again.
I'm reading about it now, and they're saying that obviously the Chiefs want to sign him, but it doesn't really look like they have the money to do it. One thing, if they do let him walk, they would get a 3rd-round draft pick in compensation. Provided that
qualifying offer.
Yeah, provided that they didn't sign someone near equal value. I don't know. It's going to come down to money, and the Chiefs they says they want to use the franchise tag, which would be $16 million. So we'll see. I mean, they'd be crazy not to re-sign him. So next one, Jadeveon Clowney.
Ooh.
I mean, this is another freak that people would
die
to have. Does he stay in
He's
Seattle?
He's kind of played himself into like a weird spot where like physically he's unbelievable, but he doesn't really mentally put it together, doesn't try super hard, doesn't have the motor that some of the other absolute studs have, and he's kind of been passed around, and it's weird because of how much of a freak he is.
Yeah, I think a lot of it is – this is just what I've read. Obviously, I don't know. But – and you know what? God love him. He himself, he's a business. He's his own CEO, his own president. They do say that he takes plays off. He kind of doesn't – and trust me, man, I get it, dude. You're getting paid. Fucking preserve your body as long as possible. His attitude hasn't always been – perfect. That's just what I've read. That's just what I've heard. Is it true? I don't know. I mean, who's he been on? He's been on Houston, Seattle. He got traded to Seattle. I'm reading now that Seattle's probably not going to re-sign him. It's actually the Ravens who are going after him hard.
I can see that.
I could easily see that. He'd be a great
That's
Raven.
unfortunate.
He'd be a great Raven. I personally love Jadeveon Clowney. I would die to have him on my team. And a lot of that stuff, what I just said, was him coming out of not Clemson, South Carolina. And I remember that going on too. I'm like, dude, the kid's gonna get. Leonard Fournette did the same thing at LSU. He kind of just, he did his number. I think he sat out the bowl game, and so a lot of that stuff probably carried with him into the NFL, and it is what it is.
He was the number 1 rated high school recruit in his recruiting class.
Here we got some YouTube comments. We have that guy says Seattle for Chris Jones if Clowney doesn't resign. That'd be interesting. Nick says No, saying when you said no defensive players in the Chiefs beside him. Sorry, Nick. Yes, they have Frank Clark and Tyrann Mathieu. I'm wrong. Nick says, bad cap situation for the Chiefs right now. Basically, they'll ask what he wants, and if they can match it, they'll do it. Nick says, I'd say if it's more than 15 mil, they'll tag him and trade him, just like D Ford. DB says it's Houston's fault in referring to Jadeveon Clowney. He's a 4-3 DN, not a 3-4 linebacker. Yeah, so let's get a score on that. I'm just going to look real quick. The Patriots are up 7-0 start of the second quarter, and the Jaguars are driving. They're inside the 50. We will stay tuned with that, and we may hop onto that later. Next guy we're going to talk about is, there he is. So let's just think hypothetical. Let's say Cowboys don't sign Dak. They go with someone else. Who does Dak go to? And how much does he get paid? I think he gets a fat paycheck.
He does.
Big
I
paycheck.
bet Tennessee would love to have him.
Dude, I think Tampa Bay would love to have him.
I don't know how many people that would love to have him.
Give up on Jameis yet.
They should be.
Yeah, I'd move on. I'd move on from Jameis. Yeah, I mean, I think, man, Tampa Bay, they're going to have their, that's a very exciting place to go to if you're a quarterback. You know, you got...
Bruce Arians has to be licking his chops at all these available QBs.
I agree. I mean, Dak in LA as a Charger. I mean, shit, Dak could go to New England if Tom Brady goes to Dallas. There you go.
That's possible.
Championship.
And to be honest with you, I don't even know if he signs with them. He wants a lot of money. And Dallas is going to have to pay a lot of guys.
What he's worth.
You know, paying all these guys, they're not going to, I don't know. It might be the doom of them paying Zeke, paying Dak, paying that O-line. I mean, you look at their receivers, I mean, Cole Beasley is going to, that's Cole Beasley and who else? They're going to have
Cole Beasley's with the Bills.
You know what I mean. My bad. But, yeah, I think Dak leaves. I don't know who he goes to, but I don't think Dallas re-signs him.
They're talking about tagging him and possibly trading him if they could get Brady.
That'd be great if Brady went to Dallas. I really want to see that now. Is Cam a free agent? Cam Newton's a free agent, right? No.
No, but they were talking about trading him.
Yeah, he's got 1 year left. Yeah, I think him and Dalton have 1 year left, and they're tradable. Yeah, that's what it is. This guy, he's toast. Phillip Rivers.
Oh, God.
Yeah, I don't know who would sign him.
He's publicly said this is it. This is his last season.
Yeah. I mean, go be a backup somewhere, maybe. I don't know.
Someone will get desperate.
He said this is his last season before retirement?
I think so. I think he said 1-2. Maybe he said 1-2 max, but I'm pretty sure I read that he said that he's pretty much only good for one more year.
Dude, he's barely good for a year. I mean, I get, dude, he's got how many kids? He got like 12 kids, right?
Oh, yeah. I think it's like 11 or something like that. He can field an offense.
He needs he I don't know what the NFL retirement pension is, but he's going to need some dough. More than he probably has, having that many fucking kids. I got one, and it's already a lot. I can't imagine 11. Who do you guys see him going anywhere? Or, like, I don't even know where to begin with this guy.
Miami.
He's got a wet noodle for an arm. Yeah, Miami would be fitting.
Oh, yeah, that's what they ought to do is draft Tua and pick him up.
Well, Tua may not be healthy at the start of the season, so I think that would be the perfect scenario. Give Tua a year to get to full health, and then play with Rivers for that 1 year.
All right, then we have Jameis Winston. Now, here's the thing with Jameis. He's a gunslinger, man. He's going to throw 40 touchdowns, but throw 25 interceptions. He reminds me of Jay Cutler a little bit. where he's just like
He does.
He
just doesn't give a shit. He just chucks it.
He just doesn't give a shit and he slings it, and I love it. But I mean, how many times have I said it tonight? I'd rather have him as my quarterback than what I got. But DB says Rivers is going to the Bears. Fuck no, he's not.
I mean, I got some Jameis Winston takes for you.
Shoot.
Yeah, man. So, I mean, his whole issue is he's too good for you to sit him, but he's too terrible for you to actually play him. I would honestly love to see Jameis Winston in the XFL to get his draft stock up, like ball out on these fools, gunsling. It doesn't really matter. It's obviously not going to be the same paychecks he's used to, but and this is the second reason is for selfish reasons. I want to see this dude in fucking sideline interviews right after he threw a pick. That dude's face. Like, you see him in pregame talking about eating W's and shit. Please throw your third pick six of the game and let fucking Diana Rossini ask you some stupid ass question, man. Oh my God, I need that shit.
That's actually one of the funniest things I've heard in a while. That's good.
But yeah, yeah, I think they're definitely gonna get him up out of there. Bruce Arians can't,
Yeah, he's had enough of his shit. And he's not.
He needs to end up somewhere that will like take the ball out of his hands half the game.
Is he a bad? He's not a. He's a good teammate. He's not a bad teammate, is he? Right? He gets along with everyone.
Not a great leader, I've heard.
No.
I don't know. I'm asking.
He gets into a lot of trouble, that's for sure. He's a big head case.
Hirsch, you're in the NFC South. You've seen this guy more than you've seen this guy more than any of us.
He's just a dickhead, man. Like, whether it's the trouble he got into in college or just like antics. Did y'all see it was like a TikTok video or a Vine video or some shit where like it's not even his Twitter account. Somebody else found the video and posted it. Oh man, I gotta see if I can find this shit and put it in the chat. But he's just a fool, man. He's just like, he's a country bumpkin, man.
He is a country bumpkin
like that. But I think it's an issue of like, him being a bit of a millennial and he doesn't have a filter. Like, he's gonna come out here and it works to his benefit in being a gunslinger, but like, he's shooting from the hip in many facets of life. Like the crab leg shit. Like, what? Come on, bro. What's happening right now? So there's no, like, Bruce Arians is the best case scenario in terms of somebody who could coach him up. Maybe the shit works out if he gets to him earlier in his career rather than him kind of rotating around with Dirk Cutter and fucking, I don't even remember who the Bucks head coach was before Cutter, but I mean,
didn't they have like Tubby Smith or something?
Might have been Tubby Smith.
Wasn't it Mike Smith from Atlanta?
Mike Smith was the defensive coordinator after he left Atlanta. We keep shuffling around fucking coaches in the NFC South, man. I don't know what's happening.
Isn't Tubby Smith basketball coach for Kentucky?
I don't know. But yeah, like, there's Jameis Winston. So it used to be that like the NFC South for like maybe a hair's breadth of a second, like we had not the four best quarterbacks, but we had the strongest division in terms of quarterbacks, just with Drew Brees, Matt Ryan coming off that MVP year, Cam Newton, who was coming off a Super Bowl, and Jameis Winston, who was going to gunsling, like who was beating the Patriots and other top tier defenses this season, but also throwing 30 picks. So, Jameis Winston is still going to be in the league. Somebody is going to play this dude.
Yeah.
Bucks, man.
You know who his first coach was?
Who?
Lovie Smith.
That's
my guy, man. I love Lovie Smith.
Yeah, he's just not. I don't know if he's head coach material.
No, he was. He's where he should be. He's an U of I, Illinois head football coach. That's where he should be. His message is perfect for college. Today's NFL, no, man. But I love him, man. He's got a special spot in my heart with those Bears teams. Let's move on from Jameis. Let's go to Marcus Mariota. I've been hearing a lot of, with the Bears, Ryan Pace, the Bears general manager, initially wanted to move up. He was trying to trade up to draft Marcus Mariota. I forget, whenever Marcus Mariota came out. So a lot of people are saying that Mariota is going to come be the Bears' backup. That's what a lot of people are saying.
That basically means week 4 starter.
Yeah, trust me, man. Bears fans love their backup quarterbacks. We love our backup quarterback. The most popular guy in town is the Chicago Bears backup quarterback.
That's facts right there. Fucking Kyle Orton, Sexy Rexy.
Kyle Orton, baby. I can go down the list, but I'm not because I'll pass out.
I'll go down the list. Nah, you got it, man.
Please don't. It's a long list. Any who was it? Caleb Haney. That's one. Yeah, so that's, I don't know if you guys have heard anything else where you think he'd be going, where you think he'd be fit, but I have heard a lot. And it makes sense for him to come to Chicago because he is the type of quarterback that Matt Nagy likes that would run his offense. I personally don't think anything much of him. I think we're pretty much fucked. Either way, but yeah, do you guys have anything you want to say about that?
I think you kind of got a raw deal.
Best for him.
What?
XFL might be his best bet.
I'm looking over.
I personally think that whichever of the two.
Nate, I forgot Nate was here.
I'm here.
Hey, Nate, do us a favor. Just chime in whenever you want.
Okay.
Crying out
I
loud.
personally just think that whichever of the two quarterbacks are going to take less money in Tennessee is just the quarterback that Tennessee's going to have to go with if they're still going to. I know I'm jumping a couple people ahead, but if they're going to keep Derrick Henry, which they would be very stupid not to, I think they're going to have to settle on the quarterback end of it.
Mariota, I think he's out of Tennessee.
Think so?
Yeah, I'd be shocked if he stayed.
I just don't know what route they would take. Would they have to draft a quarterback? Because I don't know how much Tannehill's gonna want, but
Fitty's a big Tannehill
that would
guy,
be
so I don't
$2.
know. Some of these YouTube chats we have. That guy says going to Jameis. Gruden could get. I'm gonna translate it. Gruden could groom Winston.
That's not a bad thought.
And then he says Fitty made a good point. In Vegas, he'd fit well with Brandon Jacobs. Jacobs getting 50 to 60% of the touches could help Winston. That's a good point. DB says if Jameis throws half the interceptions, Tampa Bay makes a deep playoff run. Yep. Gosi says Marcus, in all capital letters, was good, but he broke his leg in his breakout game in 2016. Gosi says same year Derek Carr broke his leg. That could be a did you know. That guy says Mariota would fit right in at Miami. I just think he's a backup quarterback, man. I think he needs to back up for a little bit and then get his chance, and maybe he'll... I think he's an NFL quarterback. He can stay in the league for 10 seasons, but I don't think he's a starter anymore. I don't know. Okay, we're going to move on from that. Marcus Mariota. So it's 10-0. Let's get an update here. It's 10-0 Patriots. I think it's still 10-0. It is 10-0 Patriots, start of the third quarter. The winner of this game heads to Tennessee to play Nick. Interesting. Teddy Bridgewater. I wouldn't want him on my team. I want him as a backup. I don't want him starting for me. I think... I don't know if... I'll let you guys talk about it. I'm not really high on Teddy Bridgewater. You know what, Nate? Let's start with you because you have barely spoken and I forgot you were here. So say something and make it meaningful and make it good. Go.
Okay. I think that the statistic that you guys were talking about earlier about him being 5-0 is I don't want to say it's an irrelevant statistic, but I think that the fact that the weapons that he had around him were just so good that I don't see that 5-0 happening on almost any other team. If you take a look at the weapons that he had on that offense, I don't remember who was talking about it, but he's not going to have another team with Michael Thomas, Kamara, a pretty solid defense and a pretty solid offensive line, and just all around a really good team. Realistically, if he's going to sign with another team to be a starter, it's going to be a team that's a little bit struggling, and I think with a struggling team, it will just kind of reflect on him and the fact that he's really not going to be able to throw the ball up and down the field. And I don't remember that, but like the point that they mentioned. So I'm not high on him either. I think that he would be better just maybe taking the backseat in New Orleans and just hoping that maybe once Drew Brees retires, he can step in and play a key role. But until then, I don't think that he should really be a starter.
I mean, how old is he? 28?
I don't know how old he is. That's a good question.
I don't know.
Is he that old?
I don't know. What do you guys think?
Googling.
Teddy Bridgewater is 27 years old.
There you go.
So says Google.
I did watch him make the greatest throw of his entire life, 20 feet in front of me at UC.
Really?
Yeah, they led a fourth quarter comeback drive and threw off of his back foot. We literally started celebrating because it looked like he threw the ball away.
Who did he play for?
It was
Louisville.
Louisville.
Oh, okay.
Instead, it was a freaking dime to the corner of the end zone that was a diving catch was made on, and we lost.
That guy says Taysom Hill, who I love. Taysom
Hill.
Is the backup in New Orleans from here on out. I love that.
He wants to be a
man.
franchise quarterback. He says, I like him better than Mariota and Teddy. I might like him better than Jameis.
Wow.
I mean, he doesn't there's not a lot of sample size. I don't know how well he is at taking care of the ball, but every time he got thrown in there, he made plays.
Dude, he's a badass.
He has only thrown, I think, 13 passes in the league, or something like that.
But they were all dimes.
That's a did you know? How many passes did you know that Taysom Hill?
He's like 6 of 13, but
Dimes.
we can call it 6 of 13 dimes, I guess.
Dimes.
For those of you listening, soon we're going to unveil the season 20 draft order for those that are not in the playoffs. So just stick with us and we'll go from there. Last guy we're going to talk about, Derrick Henry. Do the Titans? Do they? I mean, obviously you'd want to re-sign him. Now, there's a lot of warning signs here, though. Guys, especially running backs, coming off career years, a lot of carries, a lot of touches. I mean, they grinded him. They pounded him.
I just don't care. I mean,
all right. He's gonna want a lot of dough. This is money you can spend. Hey, go get Dak Prescott. We can draft a running back in the second round. We can pick up one off free agency. We'll be fine. I know.
I see that point. I see both sides of it. I don't know. Right now, at the end of the year, he was by far the hottest running back in the NFL. I mean,
I think it's because you just bought the Chinese-made.
It is because I just bought the Malaysian DHgate jersey. I have to kind of have a little bit of bias.
Yeah.
But I mean, no, he is. I mean, he ended the season as the hottest running back in the NFL. The last 8 weeks, he had the most rushing yards and yards after contact and broken tackles. I mean, all the stats that you really love to see from a running back. Now, like you said, will he replicate it again after the amount of touches that he got? I mean, it's hard to say. You don't see too many running backs do it. You only see the greats do it year after year. But I feel like that's just one of those guys you really can't let walk. If you're gonna at least want to get a little bit of value for him, If you don't want him back on the team, like a sign and trade, like they were talking about earlier with Dak Prescott, maybe.
Matty Harsh, what do you think?
Hey, Titans are going to retain him. He's one of the toughest backs I've ever seen. Whenever he was at Alabama, this was before Jalen Hurts. This is before Tua. So they had no quarterback. They literally pounded him all the way to the Heisman Trophy. And he's been doing that ever since he's in the NFL.
That was a crazy backfield in Alabama, too.
Oh, yeah.
He's your entire offense, pretty much. You gotta pay this man.
I mean, you have to say, if it weren't for him, there's no way they make that deep playoff run. No chance. I mean, Tannehill, and I think 2 of the games he didn't even have 100 yards. Against the Patriots, he was awful. I mean, he had 70 yards passing, pick. I think he might have thrown a touchdown. But, I mean, he carried them to the AFC Championship. No, there's no doubt about it.
Real quick, we're entering the fourth quarter. The Patriots are up 10-0. They are in the red zone. They are inside the 10-yard line. It's looking like we're going to have a Patriots versus Titans divisional round matchup, which I think is going to be a great game. Yep. These divisional round matchups, if you are new to the COFL or you're a casual fan, this is big boy football. you're going to see the better coaches in the league going at it, and they're going to go toe-to-toe, and they're going to be battles. You have Jomo versus Nasir, which is a game that I really, really, really want to watch. I actually cannot wait to watch that game. Nick versus Coach P. And then whoever, then you got Jaron and Nate awaiting Jake or Ghosty or Hirsch. I mean, the NFC is insane. Hirsch, congratulations on your division title, by the way.
Do what I can.
You earned it, man. You earned it. I'm proud of you. I'm rooting for you. I hope you win it all. I just want to let you know that.
I'll be excited to see what Nick does in his playoff game. He hasn't played a COFL game in over a week, I think, something like that. But he ended on like a.
Did Nate mature some? Seems like his voice is getting deeper. Interesting.
Oh, thank you, DV. Appreciate that.
That guy says Washington is about the only true starting spot that could use Bridgewater or Mariota. Yeah, who's their quarterback? What's his name?
Dwayne Haskins. I don't think we're going to.
I'm not really sold on.
They won't shy away from him. I think not this year.
And then that guy says re-sign. He's talking about Derrick Henry. Re-sign him, give him a few seasons with that rookie wide receiver Brown in Tennessee. Or no, that's Mariota.
AJ Brown is a beast. Forgot about him.
All right, so here we go. This is the draft order. The top 20 picks. And what I did is in two things, all right? This is all contingent. So you got Robin and B. Dukes playing in the toilet bowl. Let's say both of them end up staying. Let's say Robin beats B. Dukes and then B. Dukes beats Supreme. Then this is what their draft spot would be. And if one of them gets bounced, then everyone moves up a spot. So just kind of keep that in mind. So these are the top 10. It's Robin, Ricky, Bergwood, JMCC, Blitz Vision, B. Dukes, Matty Harsh, Golden Tears, JC, and Josh. Now, next to their names, in parentheses, is the team that was drafted in that same draft spot last season. So it just kind of gives you a gauge of who could be there when it's your pick. Okay? So I personally... Who do you think wins the toilet bowl? Robin or B. Dukes? Fiddy, start with you. Who do you think wins?
I think Robin, a lot of it has... She's the Chiefs, right?
Yeah.
I think that's the main reason. B. Dukes is kind of... I don't know. He's got a lot going on in life. He doesn't seem to be super intense about it. Not to say that he can't win. He's capable as a player. But if I had to pick one, Robin.
I agree.
Nate agrees. What's his name? Hirsch, what do you think? Sorry.
Dang.
No, come on. Hirsch is my
Division
guy.
champion Hirsch, tier 2 legend Hirsch.
Sorry, I was doing something. Can you repeat the question?
How do you feel about Bernie Sanders and his emotional relationship with the state of New Hampshire? I'm kidding.
Listen, man, I'm an Andrew Yang guy.
Yeah, well, he's done. So.
No, I'm just playing. I don't like any of them.
Yeah, neither do I. I think every politician should do 4 years in office and then 4 years in jail. But that's another podcast for another time. And that includes Andrew Yang.
Andrew Yang's not a politician, so no, it doesn't.
Either is Donald Trump, so they're all assholes.
Facts.
Anyways, my question was, who wins the toilet bowl, Robin or B. Dukes?
B. Dukes, man, he's been playing pretty good. He's had some close games that just haven't gone his way, man.
Yeah, you can say the same thing about Robin, man. I think there's like 7 games she lost by a touchdown or less.
Yeah, I mean, they both.
Yeah, I know, it's both of them.
The competition level in this league is getting fucking outrageous, man. You're going to have to, create some kind of, aptitude test or some shit that they have to take before they can fucking just jump in here.
I have to have a tryout game against Fiddy.
I once thought about doing, taking the top 20 and, separating the 2 leagues, having the 20 best players in one league and then the next 20 in the other. But
interesting.
It would take away from what the COFL is, 32 teams, you know what I mean, the history. But it's cool. So you got B. Dukes, Nate's got Robin. Matty Harsh. Who do you got?
I don't know with Robin. Robin's always been a thorn in my ass.
Yeah.
I don't know why that is, but she's always been. I should blow her out, but it doesn't ever happen like that. I have to throw everything I have at her just to close the damn ball game versus her. And all of her games are close. So that's why I'm going with Robin on this one.
Yeah. I'm going to go with Robin reluctantly. You know what? I'm going with B. Dukes. I changed my mind. Here's the reason why. You ready?
Ready?
Robin is on a work trip from today through Friday. So she's going to get back. Hadn't played in over a week. Mind is elsewhere. Unfocused. B. Dukes.
He's going to have the same layoff by default.
Yeah. So, congratulations to Coach P on winning and advancing in the playoffs. So this is the draft order for those. I pick 14th. Last season, the Bucks were picked at 14th. I will definitely not be picking the Bucks if they're there. I don't know who I'll pick. Just depends who's there. I mean, if
You pick the Bears.
if they're the best team available, I will. But if the Eagles or the Falcons or the Patriots or the Vikings or the Texans.
I did not realize Atlanta went 17th.
I know, that's crazy.
That's crazy.
As a Madden team, just like from a Madden perspective.
Yeah.
That's pretty.
I feel like the Falcons are the COFL's America's team.
Hirsch, very unrelated, but did you see the news about Devontae Freeman?
There you go, Nate. There you go, buddy.
Hirsch, maybe, yes. No.
He's doing other stuff right now. Yeah, Devontae Freeman, they're not going to sign him, are they?
Well, there was a report that they might cut him.
Ooh.
So I'd be upset because it just the fact that they, believed in him so heavily over Tevin Coleman, and then we went from having two really good running backs to neither of them now.
Well, we believe in you, Nate. So
as long as you believe in me, it makes me feel confident.
okay. Matty Harsh, you got the 7th pick, my man.
Wow.
I'm not going to ask you who you're going for because I don't want you to give anyone any ideas. But, here's the thing, Matty Harsh. I need you back. I need you mentally focused. I need you prepared. The last 2 seasons, you haven't played that well. All right? You haven't made the playoffs.
I did in my, not this previous season, but the one before that I played in.
You haven't. The last 2 seasons, you haven't made the playoffs.
Well, the last 2 seasons, the season before technically only played 1 game. I came in for ZZ as he quit with just final 2 games with no shot at all making the playoffs. That was
you were
to get me back in the league.
Who would you make the playoffs with? Seattle? No.
The Cowboys.
That's right. You're in the yeah. Well, I want to see a Matty Harsh deep playoff run like you did with the. Who were you? Were you the Jaguars?
Jags.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Jags. That was terrible. I was the Bengals at the time. He was terrible to play against.
Yeah, Matty Harsh, you and I are in the same division that year. We had some battles.
Oh, we did.
We played in the playoffs and you beat me 27-20.
Yep.
Yeah. That was a great game. This is the playoff bracket. I love a good bracket.
It's a pretty looking bracket.
Yeah, it's nice and clean, right?
Yep. Is it shinier than normal?
Maybe. The helmets are.
It looks like they gleam a little better. I don't know.
So, yeah, you see New England versus Tennessee now. Oof, Hirsch versus Ghosty. That's a great game. I mean, you can't ask for a better opening round matchup than that. How about freaking D-Rob almost beating Jake today?
Oh, no, he should have.
Dude, Nate, I did not get your tag.
I tagged you right when they posted it. But, sorry.
Fact.
And then Hirsch tried to tag everybody, but it was a little weird about it. It just it didn't add anybody, even though he typed it.
He did the old copy and paste, and none of them tagged anything.
Yeah, I all of a sudden I turn on, I'm like, wait, there's a playoff game? Look at the fuck. And then I got busy, so I was kind of going back and forth, and I I rewound it and kind of watched, and I saw what D-Rob was trying to do. Like, I saw on the interception. It was, dude, that's a tight throw, and you got to throw it like maybe a second and a half before he threw it. You know, it's easy to second guess. That's one that it's a tough pill to swallow. I mean, he shouldn't. You know, if I'm D-Rob, he didn't even know he was in the playoffs when he clinched. Naylor had. I mean, sorry, Naylor, but that's easily the most epic collapse I've ever seen in the COFL.
It's pretty bad. I was really pushed. I was rooting for him too. Same.
Yeah,
did not happen. Maybe
I felt bad. I didn't. I felt bad even like bringing it up, but I have to bring it up. I can't not talk about it. But he took it like a man. He took it like a champ, and I'm actually the one who eliminated him from the playoffs.
Oof.
Yeah.
What pick does he have?
Naylor has the pick
14.
before me, so he'll probably pick the Bears, which is fine. I don't think the Bears suit him, to be honest with you. Good luck.
That's a player to watch, I think.
Naylor?
The Vikings are a good team, but I feel like having a top 15 pick, he's good enough to do something with it.
Here's my thing with Naylor. If he mixes up his play calling, if he keeps you on your toes, he's very good.
I struggle against him.
But when he goes to that stretch, he has like 2 or 3 pass plays he runs. Dude, you spend 5 to 10 minutes scouting him, you got him down. I mean, I dominated him when I played him, and I'm not talking shit either. Like I said, I let my wife play the fourth quarter because I had to go take a dump.
That's right. Roll noticed the increase.
Yeah, Roll was quick on that one. That was good.
Yeah.
But yeah, Naylor is definitely a player. He'll stay in tier 3, but he's someone to watch out for. My COFL Bowl, I got whoever wins Nasir or Jomo, in my opinion, is going to the COFL Bowl. I got Jomo, and I have. I don't know if I could pick Nate and the Cardinals. I want to.
Jeez.
I kind of like Ghosty and the Giants, to be honest with you.
I don't.
You never sleep on Jake. Jake, I don't know. I'm going Jomo and Jaron. Fitty, COFL Bowl, pick it.
I'm going to go with Nasir and Jaron because they're bros, and I want to see that happen.
That'd be funny.
I mean, I think that realistically, though, Nasir's getting hot at the correct time. He finally figured out how to use the Bengals. We all know it's possible, but it's just not easy to do because you got to do things the right way because they are not great. Jaron, I don't actually know how good he is, but I know that he played me extremely tough while I was on a good run this past season, and he's got the 49ers, which have that, like, I call it the boost. I don't know what anyone else calls it, but it's like the EA Sports boost that happens with all, like, the top 5 teams, especially good defenses. They're just better than everyone else for no reason. I don't know. He played me tough. Nate, I want you to go. I just don't know if the Cardinals are it, just in general. I just think that Jaron's got the best team. And after seeing Jake falter a little bit in the first round with Detroit, we'll go with that. So I actually have to go because I'm not near a charging device and I have 3% left on my phone.
Hey, don't worry about it, man. I'll see you next week. Thanks for coming on, all right?
Absolutely. It's been real, gentlemen.
All right, buddy.
Sure.
Hurst, you're gone, I take it?
Nope.
He's here.
Yes.
Hurst, did you hear my question?
I didn't. Repeat it real quick.
Did you see the news about Devontae Freeman?
No, what's the news?
Like, well, it's not confirmed, but it's a rumor that the Falcons might cut him.
Yeah, so that's not real surprising to me. Like, my dad happens to know this dude who's the doctor on the team, and he got the news that this dude was going to be out all season last year after they were already being like, oh, yeah, he's going to be week to week. Nah, whatever the injury was. He had some similar kind of injury issues this season. He did come back and do a little something late, but, yeah, I think they're definitely moving on. They might draft another guy because Brian Hill is all right, but
what about Ito?
I heard doing some playoff talk I'm not sure what's going on with the draft, but for the playoffs, yeah, Nas is probably going to get Jomo. He's playing great right now, even though I feel like the Bengals are. I'm sad Fitty left, but they become one-dimensional just because of like how trash the team is. Either you're running something deep with John Ross, or Joe Mixon is stiff-arming people into oblivion. Like, I don't know what the fuck's going on there, but he can make it work if anybody can. Because I mean, the Broncos are damn near the same fucking team. So, I think that Nick is going to come out of the other side of that division, and then Nas will beat him there. So it'll probably be Nas versus Jaren, I guess. I hate to say it. Nate, I know you're over here in this bracket with me. I'm hoping to get past Ghosty. I need to watch some film tonight.
Yeah, definitely watch film. I'll tell you with Ghosty, those out routes, Hirsch, here's a little warning.
Yeah, I got to sit on them, but I got to...
No. The opposite. Dude, he is on them. Like, when you run him,
sitting
how the fuck does he do it? How does he do that?
Do what?
When I throw an out route, he automatically switches to the corner, and for some reason, he can like jump the route. I can't.
He must completely forget how to do that against me.
Maybe it's his franchise then, but he was.
Are you talking about some of these shallow outs? If the deep out also figured out how to, like, you got to be quick. But
I'm talking like on when you run like shallow cross and you run like a 7 to 10 yard out.
Yeah, I don't want to talk too much about the out without giving something away. But
oh yeah.
Nate, we're all in here together.
You too. I'm trying to go 2-0 against you this season.
Yeah, you were the last person in the NFC I think I want to play. I'd rather play the other people than I would rather play you.
Yeah, man. I know you're tier 1, but we always end up with some good matchups. Like this season, I'm probably maybe 3-1, maybe 2-1 against tier 1 opponents. The loss being Nas week 1. And I don't know, man. Y'all know I'm bipolar on this Madden shit. So
we all are.
I'm gonna have the A game or I'm not.
I mean, the tiers are just so much closer now than they've ever been in terms of go get.
Yeah.
Matty Harsh, what do you think, bud? Or hold on, Hirsch, you think it's going to be Nasir versus Jaren?
Yeah, but I'm low-key putting myself up in there too. But Jaren, I didn't figure him out in our head-to-head. And I'm not sure that I just have enough film or enough time to fucking figure it out, man. So I guess I'm going to give him the nod.
Okay. Matty Harsh?
I think Jomo's coming out of the AFC. The NFC, this is where I'm figuring out. I want to see Nate get in there. Because I want to see him do great things with my boy Kyler Murray. I'll be honest, I don't want to see Jaren win it because I don't want to deal with another year of him being the 49ers, but I also know it might help that he won't. Probably is not going to be in tier 4 next season as well. I'm going to go. You know what? I'm going to go with Nate. I'm going to pick him right now. Nate and Jomo for the COFL Bowl.
Wow. Nate, did you pick?
No.
Oh, I'm sorry, buddy. Go ahead.
I gotta pick myself. I'm the 1 seed. I pulled it out of my ass. I really don't know how. I just got really lucky. I feel like with the tiebreakers, and my game against Fitty at the end of the season was clutch, but I know he wasn't too happy about it. I just can't give it to 49ers because I don't want to see a first-year guy in the COFL win it. I've been trying to do this for too long, and I'm not trying to let someone walk in the league and do what I've been trying. For the AFC, I don't even know because Jomo smacked me, so I really don't want to see Jomo make it. I don't know. I know Nasir's been in the league for 2 years, but I really don't know much about his game, which is probably a bad thing. I kind of want to see Nick make a run just because he's got the Titans, and I obviously like Derrick Henry since he won me fantasy. And I think he played really well in those last 6 games, but like I said earlier, I hope that he's ready after however long it's been since he's played a game, and like you said, however many seasons it's been since he's played a playoff game. It's definitely a different atmosphere. It feels different. It doesn't feel like just another regular season game, even though it's just, as we were talking earlier in the chats, it's just a video game. But when you really get down to it, it's not at all. it's really nerve-wracking. You get nervous every play. You're second guessing. You don't know what play you want to run. You don't know if this is the right play. You make one mistake, it's hard to mentally, sometimes it can be really hard to mentally recover when you get down a quick 7-0 or a quick 10-0. But I think that this is the season that maybe Nick can make that run. I think he's got a decent team to do it. This is definitely a running Madden this year. He's got the best running back in the AFC. And then, like I said, I like me. I think that I've done a lot better than I expected to do with the Cardinals. I thought I was going to struggle a little bit just because they're not the most fantastic team, but I made it work with what I have. And so I hope that I can make the run because I've been waiting a long time. And I feel like I thought last year was a really good opportunity with the Eagles, but I feel like I have just a good opportunity this year with the Cardinals.
One thing, the reason why I picked Jaron, because he has that going for him. He just doesn't know. He's just out there playing. He's like, whatever, dude, I'm just going to go out there and play.
That's true. That's what happened. That's what I felt like Nasir had too until he hit the COFL Bowl, and then I think it all came. I think it came down on him a little bit, like how serious the game really was going to be when he got to it.
Yeah, like how serious we really take this.
Yeah.
That's funny. All right, guys, that's about it, man. I mean, shit, it's 9 o'clock. This is an hour and 45-minute podcast. A lot of fun.
Agree.
I appreciate Fitty, Hirsch, Nate, Maddie Harsh, all you guys coming on. We'll do this same thing again next week. We'll have more different topics. We'll have a different segment. We may do Did You Know again. We might do something else. We'll try new things, but we will continue talking sports, and it's fun. And so someone asked real quick before we go. Someone asked me how many seasons we're doing. We'll do 2 more, barring any life-changing things where I'm like, guys, I just can't do a second season. But it's pretty well managed. The month break is actually really nice. Not just for me, but for everyone else. It kind of builds your enthusiasm for the league. I mean, if you play 5 seasons in a row, you get burnt out. So it's nice to have a little break. Anyways, this next season will start March 9th. And I think that takes us to mid-April. And then we'll start again May 4th for the last season. And then it'll take us to the beginning of June. And then we'll take a couple months off, and then we'll get right back into it. So that's it. Gentlemen, have a good night. Hirsch, best of luck. Nate, best of luck.
Thank you. I would say you too, but you got to rebuild the mode. I hope you're the Bears again next year, man. I know we don't want to talk too much longer, but I really feel like you can make it with the Bears.
I do too. I'll tell you this. If I wouldn't have gotten – I'm such an idiot. I shouldn't have played while I was sick. It was the dumbest thing I've ever done, and it cost me.
For Hirsch.
It cost me the playoffs. I would have beaten Hirsch once.
Think so, yeah.
Yeah, he knows it too. All right, I'm out of here, gentlemen. Have a good night, all right? Thanks for listening.
All right, see ya.